Hey guys, today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how I read my stories to my kids during circle time and just some fun ideas to kind of help bring these stories to come alive. So if you're interested in 6 different ways to read different storybooks to kids, stick around. So my first idea is to stick things into the book so as you're reading the story, items are falling out. So the example I'm using is Let It Snow. So in the story I have put snowflakes. So as I'm reading the story to the kids, as I turn the pages it will snow. So as I turn the page, the snowflakes fall out. And they really like this. This is a super easy thing to do. You could do this with leaves in the fall. You could do it with just items that are found in the book, but the kids really enjoy this idea. The second idea I have is to have activity trays that go along with the story. So the first one I'm showing you is for the story, Where is Baby Jesus? With this one, I had all the characters that were in the story. So I had all of the animals, and then I had Mary and baby Jesus. And how I did this story was each of the kids got to hold some of the characters or animals, and then as I read of the story, when it came upon that character, they got to come up and put it onto the tray. And then after we read the story, I would put this whole tray over into our library center so that they could read the story or play with the pieces throughout the day. And then another activity tray that you could do would be just a toy that went along with the story. And so this is the story, Good Morning Snowplow. And so we would read this during circle time, but then over in our library center, I would have an activity tray with just a snowplow and a little guy and then the snowballs. And so I would place this next to this tray, and then when they're in library center they could act out the story using these props. So the third way that I use to bring stories alive is by using my whiteboard and just printed pieces that go along with stories. You can also use a flannel board. I don't have a flannel board, so I just use a magnetic whiteboard. And so this goes along with There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed Some Snow. And then as I read the story, as she eats the different objects, we place them onto the board. So as she eats a hat, we would place it onto the board. Now, I don't individually add magnets to all of my pieces. You can, but an easier way that I find is I just have a bowl of these little small magnet pieces here. They just look like that. And you could have the kids add the pieces to the board. You could add the pieces to the board, but as I do that, I just place the magnet on there. It just saves time with having not to add magnet to every single printed piece I have. Another thing that the kids absolutely love is to bring the characters into your classroom. So an idea with that is when we read Gingerbread Mouse, we have a classroom gingerbread house that the kids get to decorate at the beginning of every week. And so in this story, a gingerbread mouse moves into a little gingerbread house. And so I replaced the gingerbread man with a little Christmas mouse. And we've just been leaving our Christmas mouse in our gingerbread house this season, and they absolutely love going to the gingerbread house and playing with this. You can do this also with stuffed animals. So when we read Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, we have a little reindeer that comes and sits during circle time while we read our story, and then this can go into our library center for them to hold or play with while they are looking at his storybook. Another one is Copy Me Copy Cub, and then a little polar bear to go with it. A great place to find stuffed animals that go along with books is the Kohl's Cares Animals. So anytime that you bring a stuffed animal to go along with a story, the kids really enjoy that. Another thing is to read interactive books with the kids, and so this one is called Christmas Cookies. This is one of our classroom favorite books of the whole month. They love this. I have read this book so many times already this month, and it is just a little board book, and it's actually my preschoolers that love it the most, so don't disregard those board books. I have a lot of infant toddler materials, but this year I have more preschool age kids, and so I really at first wasn't going to bring out a lot of my board books, but I did, and these have been some of the favorite books. So this one's Christmas Cookies, and as you read the story, they make cookies together, and then on each page there's something that the kids can do, and so I just have them come up, and as we read through the story, they do whatever the page says to do. And most board books are interactive, and so they really like being able to come up and do the activities as you read the story. And then the last idea I have for you is to add music to your stories. And so especially this time of year, I have a lot of sing-along stories like Jingle Bells or Deck the Halls. And so when we read stories like that, I will give the kids a bell, and at certain times in the story they get to ring the bell. And so I like to use these little bells from the Dollar Tree because they're not really loud and obnoxious. The kids can just kind of hold them from the top and ring them like that. It's not a really loud ring, and so when they're all ringing these bells together, it's not super loud, and you can still listen to the story. So those are some fun ways that I make my storybooks come alive during circle time. Comment below some different ways that you read your stories to your kids, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.